We're gonna start in our supine series on the OOV, and everybody has the OOV. So have a seat at the base, have the weights ready, have your band ready, and the ball. These are kind of the things that I will always interchangeably use. But we're gonna use, if you have the ball or the yoga block will work too, but just have the weights ready and then go ahead and lie down on your back. Find your tailbone high on the OOV and then allow the weights to be on each side. We don't need the ball for now. And I don't need that thing either. And let's just start with the breath. Arms on the outside of the rib cage. Breathe in. Allow your ribs to expand. Breathe laterally into the rib cage. And then as you exhale, allow the ribs to close down. We'll just take a couple of deep breaths here. Our diaphragm, it's really interesting. You know, the diaphragm as well as the pelvic floor are actually two diaphragms. Now they figured them out that they actually work together. They did some studies where as we breathe in and our diaphragm expands our ribs, our pelvic floor actually widens and tightens. And then as you exhale, the diaphragm should move out of the way, and the pelvic floor at the same time also connects our hip bones towards each other, stabilizes. So being able to breathe properly through the day as well as the workouts is so important for stability of the rib cage and our pelvis. So now that we got our breathing, we're gonna take a breath in and bring both arms toward the ceiling. Use the weights for that added challenge. Let's start with a gentle chin nod. So you're gonna bring your chin down towards the sternum. And then as you exhale, just release the gentle chin nod. We'll do a couple more here. Bringing your chin down. As that happens, I want you to feel length and just really nice, hopefully, stretching in that suboccipital region. And then release. Two more here, nod the chin. And exhale, release. And last one, chin nod. And release. Now as you nod the chin, both arms will start reaching overhead. Keep reaching through your elbows. They're nice and straight. Palms are facing each other. Chin is nodded. And exhale, coming back. So inhale, arm reach over. Exhale, coming back. Focus on pulling your ribs down as your arms reach overhead. Breathe in. And exhale, return. Two more. Inhale, arms reach over as you nod the chin. Ribs pull down. Exhale, coming back. And the last one, we're mobilizing that upper cervical region here. And coming back. Now let's breathe in, both arms open out to the side. Think widening through the chest. Allow your shoulder blades to move towards each other. They kind of wrap around the OOV. And exhale, coming back. We'll do four more. You can move at your own pace. Focus on the shoulder blade placement here. So when the arms open, feel how they move towards that corner of the OOV. But as the arms come together, keep your shoulder blades back there. You'll feel them rotating. You just don't want to let them kind of protract very far. Notice how they move towards each other, and then they glide along the ribs away from each other. Last one here. And coming back. Let's stay in this nice position. Connect to your deep core. Breathe in as your right leg starts lifting up to the tabletop. Now let's just find our connection here. If this feels pretty good, We're gonna start moving our opposite arm. So the left arm will move overhead as that right heel will tap down onto the floor. And then bring the arm, bring the leg. So let's keep going, nice and slow here. Only one point of contact, left foot stays on the floor. Inhale out, exhale in. Keep moving with deliberate control. If your body is shaking, trying to find that balance, that's wonderful. We are rewiring our inner core, allowing our nervous system to organize itself. In this position, last one here, we're working on activation of anterior sling. So all the muscles in the front of the body. And coming back. Now stay in the same position, and then the same, only the arm is going to move out to the side. And then slowly coming back. If you found your control and stability here, stay here. If this feels easy, add that hip opening slightly out to the side as left arm moves out to the side. So a bit more rotational control here. If this is too challenging, you can lower your right elbow down and give yourself another point of contact. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just meeting your body where it's at this morning. And our bodies can be in different places every week. Last one here. And coming back. Let's lower that leg down. Keep both arms towards the ceiling. Before we start the sequence on the other side, let's do arm circles. Take your arms overhead, breathe in. Exhale, let them open out to the side, palms up to the sky. Keep moving them through that snow angels all the way until the pinkies are next to the hips. And then turn your palms facing each other as they return. One more time this direction, breathe in. Arms open out to the side. You have the shoulder restrictions through this range. Just move through what you can. The most important part is to center that arm bone in the socket. And if it's not centered, pain pops, discomfort will start creeping on. Last one, as the arms come up, breathe in and exhale as they circle through. Let's bring them towards each other, facing. Now the other leg comes up into the tabletop. So there's always a side that's way more challenging. Take a second, find your balance here. This is hard to do. For me, it is. I'm gonna lower my elbow down on that side for a second, just to allow myself to find balance. And now we're gonna start moving right arm and left heel away from each other. Breathe in. And exhale, coming back. Working on that anterior sling. Inhale out, exhale in. Keep moving at your own pace. If you can, lift that opposite elbow off the floor. I can't quite do it this morning, but if you can, go for it. I did a ozone injection in my right knee yesterday. Actually, been reading a lot of really good literature about ozone injections for inflammation control, recovery, all kinds of good things. So I'm trying it out. So my right knee doesn't feel very stable this morning. And then coming back, good. Now, let's move opposite arm, opposite knee away from each other, rotational control. And coming back. Inhale out. Exhale in. If you notice a greater challenge, definitely is for me on one side, the part that isn't stabilizing well, it's the foot that's on the ground actually. So it's that side of the lumbopelvic region. It could be a combination of transverse abdominis, obliques, or serratus on that side, but that essentially means that the side that's on the floor isn't co-contracting very well. And then you can kind of lift the elbow up if you're ready, and then kind of back. Good, last one. And exhale in. Let's lower that leg all the way down. We're gonna bring both arms up to the ceiling. And we're gonna do circles, but the other direction. So maybe arms go down this time. They open out to the side. They come all the way through that overhead position. And then they return palms facing each other. So palms facing each other, move down towards the hips. Then we externally rotate as the palms are up towards the ceiling. We slowly move through that overhead position, and then arms come back in. Last one, breathe in, arms move down. They open out to the side, and they return to that starting position. Now we're gonna take our arms to 90-degree angle. So elbows are down to the side, just hovering above the floor. It's kind of like a football post. So shoulders at 90-degree angle, elbows at 90-degree angle. We're gonna keep our humerus, our upper bone, in the same position. And now we're gonna let our arms externally rotate. And then they go into internally rotate, as far as your range of motion allows. And it might feel different side to side. So there's two things going on here. Using our rotator cuff to keep our elbow off the floor, just at that hover. Then we're spinning that arm bone in the shoulder socket to rotate externally and internally. You have shoulder restrictions. It's nice to have little balls underneath the elbows, just like little soft balls, or even a pillow, like a bunched up little pillow, something that you can actually rest your elbows on, and then work on this range of motion. Excellent, last one. Let's bring our hands all the way to the starting position, and then lower our hands down. Let's come off the OOV. That was a lot upper body kind of heavy work. Well done. And we're going to transition into sideline work next. So everyone has the OOV. We're gonna have a seat in this saddle part. So this is where the hip is gonna go. Now, have your weight ready, just arm weight. And the hip is gonna go in that saddle, and then the side of the body will go over the OOV. The top leg will straighten, and then we're just gonna allow our head to rest. And then take, without the weight, take the top arm all the way over. Now let's take a second in this side bend posture here. As you take a breath in, notice how the ribs are moving up, or hopefully that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to lift that upper part of the ribs with an inhale. And as you exhale, just let it soften. Inhale with side bend, trying to increase that rib cage, glide, roll and slide up of the rings of the ribs. Frequently, if you're restricted in the ribs, in that glide of each ring, it will affect how the shoulder moves. Now let's grab the weight, or just have the weight of your arm. That's plenty. We're going to breathe in. As you exhale, lift that arm up, Lift the head. Use the bottom hand to help as you slide up. Inhale, we're gonna slide down into the side bend. And exhale, sliding back up. So on the inhale, our ribs actually open. So that's why we breathe in as we lower. And then as we exhale, our ribs close back down and help us lift up. Last one here, breathe in. And now exhale. Leg is nice and heavy. Let's hold this position, having the OOV for support there. If you can, we're gonna start challenging it. This was hard enough, stay with this. Now take the bottom hand underneath you with palm up. So the back of the hand is gonna push down to the ceiling. It's helping support that side bend posture. So a lot of work on that upper side of obliques. And then maybe you can lift that arm up. Now we're gonna breathe in and move into the side bend. Arm lowers and exhale. Lift the bottom hand as you crunch up into the side crunch. Inhale, lower down. And exhale. Keep nice long neck as you lift up. 2 more. Exhale, lift up. Think of pulling your ribs towards the hip bone. And last one here, breathe in. And exhale, lift. Reach the bottom hand forward, off the floor. Hold this posture for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower all the way down. Let's drop the weight, and we're gonna go into supported side plank. So you're gonna take your elbow, place it right underneath the shoulder, press down into the floor. Bring your head in the nice long neck position, and you're just gonna be supported on the OOV into a little bit of that side plank. Now let's start with the hand on the hip so you can feel where your pelvis is. We're gonna go into a little bit of a leg lift. Flex the foot and lift that hip up. Reaching through the heel. Now we're gonna pigeon toe that foot. So the big toe is pointing down to the floor, so the hip is internally rotated. Now we're gonna lift that leg up and lower down for 8. Lift and lower. Now your neck is probably working quite a bit on that upper side. So it's not a bad thing. You're working your stabilizers, but just make sure that you're not twisted, that your spine is kind of following along that gentle curvature. 3 more. And 2. And 1. Hold that leg up there. Now we're gonna rotate it. So the toes are rotating up to the ceiling. So it's external rotation of the hip and internal rotation of the femur for 8. Out and in and out. So you're holding it parallel to the floor and trying to focus on the spin. Halfway there. And 3. And 2. And last one. Lower that leg down. Let's go into the final side bend. Relax the neck, take a breath in. And as you exhale, we're gonna slowly come up and repeat the sequence quickly on the other side. So if you have, take the OOV, take the weights, have a seat in the saddle with the bottom leg, and then allow your side of the body line up along that seam. Have your arm weight if you used it before. Now let's just take a breath in. Make sure that you're nicely set up. Think about breathing into the ribs at the top. As you take a breath, try to create a stretch along the side of the body as the ribs move up and open slightly. And then as you exhale, allow the ribs to close down. One more time here. With the next exhale, we're gonna start lifting the arm and sliding our body up, using the bottom hand to help. And then exhale as we slide back. We're gonna do this 4 times. Now as that shoulder moves, think about keeping it as if there are 2 glasses in the front and the back. And you're moving that arm in between the glasses, the windows. So it moves in that perfect plane of motion. You try not to touch front or back. One more time here. Inhale up and exhale lower. Now stay here if this was hard enough. Otherwise, lift up, try to find that side crunch. Take the bottom hand forward and off the floor. If you feel like you got it, we're gonna go into here for 4. Breathe in as you lower. Exhale up and lift. Inhale down. Exhale up. Activating that whole lateral line of the body. The leg is heavy. We're moving through our side, from the neck to the rib cage, to the pelvis. One more time, breathe in. And exhale, come all the way up. We're gonna hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Allow the elbow to find its nice stable position. Right underneath the shoulder, press firmly into the floor. Arm goes on the hip. So being on the OOV creates dynamic surface, which is why I like this a lot more than the floor, because you can know and you can feel your pelvis. Think about stabilizing it there. And then we're gonna start lifting our top leg, toes pointed down, internal rotation of the femur. Now lower and lift. Down and up. Check in with your neck. Chin nod. Head stays back. Halfway there. And 3. And 2. And last one. Now let's hold it as we rotate the femur up and down. External rotation and internal rotation. You might feel how it's moving in that socket. You're gonna feel in the back of the hip. Breathe in and exhale. Think about reaching through the heel long as you're rotating. Last one here. Let's find our parallel position. Lower the leg. Final side bend all the way down. Take another breath into that upper rib cage. And then as we exhale, we're gonna come on off. So now we're gonna go into our abdominal series. So we're gonna take the OOV work through blocks. There's a block on the side, block on the back. Now we're gonna do a block seated. So use the OOV, you're gonna sit right at the base of it, have your weights. And if you have a ball, yoga block, or a band, let's put something around the knees. I'm gonna choose a band this morning. So just gonna go above the knees to create more of a hip connection. Now, have a seat right at that pointy part of the OOV so that your sit bones are in between. You have your weights there, knees are bent, and just take a second to kind of gently side bend, side to side. So you feel that you're in the middle, you can move your hips side to side. So, and then find yourself in the center. So the beauty here is that we're gonna challenge our core to stabilize against this coronal plane of motion, that side to side motion, which happens in gait when we walk. Our hips go, they should rotate and go side to side, but that movement should happen equal and symmetrical. So we're gonna work on that. Let's start in a nice neutral position. Hold on to the weights. Arms are going to reach forward. Plug your shoulders back in. Not squeeze in, but just kind of find that in-between position. Breathe in. And as you exhale, half roll back. So start tipping your tailbone back, using abdominals to find a C curve in our lumbar spine. Pause there for a second. Push against the band or squeeze the ball of the yoga block. As you exhale, start pulling your ribs in and coming back up into the seated position. Let's do 4 more. Breathe in. Exhale, half roll back. Inhale, stay. And exhale, roll up. And keep going. Now the goal here is to keep the head right over the rib cage. So you just keep a nice long neck. And as you roll back, first the glutes, tuck your pelvis under, and then the lumbar spine flexes. So the ribs are pulled in, abdominals are shortened, and roll back up. Let's lower our arms for a second, give them a break. Press against the band or squeeze. Breathe in here. Now exhale as you half roll back. Arms go behind your head. Nice long neck. Now take your right hip, either push it out to the side or push it in, depending on what you have. We're gonna do that 4 times. So right femur moves out or squeezes in and then relaxes. And 2. And 1. Bring it in. Now the other side. Either out or gently in. So we're isometrically stabilizing with our abdominals, holding that crunch as we working on the femur control. Bring it in. Exhale. Roll back up. We're gonna do 1 more variation. Breathe in here. Exhale, half roll back. Really deepen that abdominal connection. Now bring your hands forward. And we're gonna let our left arm open out to the side and bring it in. And then the other arm goes out to the side. Your goal is to stabilize your pelvis, not let your hips move. And in, keep going, and out, and in. 2 more side to side. Last one here. Once we're done, we're gonna find ourselves in the center and roll all the way back up. Let's grab the weights and go through the full roll down. So this is range of motion. So the legs can straighten. You can still have the band, the ball, or nothing. Pull your toes up towards you, straighten the knees. Find grounding in the legs so that you're nicely grounded to the floor. Arms lift up, hold the weights, breathe in. As we exhale, start rolling down sequentially onto the OOV. And then inhale at the top. Let your head drop back, let the arms reach overhead. As you exhale, arms lift up, not the chin. Sequentially start peeling yourself off the OOV until you're all the way neutral. And then we're gonna spine stretch forward and reach towards your feet. Inhale as we lengthen up. Exhale, start rolling back. So glutes, then abdominals. And I like to do this slow so that you can deliberately work through each segment. As you're at the top, allow your arms to go overhead. Extend through that upper spine. So notice where that extension happens. If you scoot up on the OOV, you will be more in the lower back. If you scoot down, you'll extend more in the upper back. So see where you need it, and maybe you can move up and down next time to work more on the stiff segment. Inhale with the arms, not the chin, and roll all up to neutral, and then stretch forward. This is more hamstring stretch, lengthening. I'm gonna do 2 more times. Inhale at the top, exhale, rolling down. Inhale, allow your arms to reach overhead and look up. Exhale, arms lift, not the chin. Pull your ribs in and round forward. Last one, breathe in. Exhale, rolling back. Inhale, arms reach overhead. They're still facing each other, so think about that palms towards each other. It's gonna allow you to stretch more through the lats. Arms lift up, not the chin. Pull the ribs in. And then come all the way forward and stretch. And have a seat. Excellent. We're gonna go into saw next. So get rid of your band. And this is where we're gonna have a seat on the OOV, but you're gonna kind of, actually keep it in the same position, but you're gonna sit at the top of it. So sit at the top, feet looking side to side. Now, if you have a balanced sit, and I know that you don't, but I know someone that will be watching it later and has it. You're gonna sit at the base of it with feet still reaching forward. So it's the same position, a little bit elevated pelvis, but it gives a completely different feedback for the pelvic floor. So we're gonna be on the OOV at the bigger part of it. And arms reaching out to the side first. Feet are a little bit wider than shoulder width. We're gonna breathe in here. Now think about lengthening up from the crown of your head. Let's take a moment, bring our chin back, nice long neck, bring ribs over the pelvis, ground through the heels. You pressing down into the heels, you're pulling your toes up, knees are straight, arms are out to the side, or if this is too much, you can just bring them and let them rest on the shoulders. So the thumbs will be on the shoulders and the fingertips will be on the collarbones here. Totally fine too. Take a breath in. As we exhale, we're gonna start twisting to the left with our upper torso only. Feet should not move here. Let your head rotate as well and look toward the thumb of the hand. Exhale, come back to the center. Inhale, we twist to the right. Exhale, center. One more time, side to side. Breathe in as we rotate. Exhale, center. And breathe in as you rotate to the other side. And come back to the center. Now we're gonna add spine stretch forward. Inhale as you rotate to the side. Exhale, you reach forward to the outside of that foot. Inhale, line back up. And exhale, back to center. Inhale, we rotate to the other side. Exhale, stretch forward and reach to the outside of that foot. Inhale, you line up. And exhale, center. One more side to side, breathe in. And flex forward. Inhale up. And center. Keep going, breathe in as we rotate. I love spine stretch forward exercise, even though it's really challenging, because it combines so many movements together and then come back to the center. Let's lower our arms down and we're gonna come off the OOV. Now, we're gonna go into the prone series or extension on our stomach. With an OOV, we're gonna use it this way. So the upper part is nicely up. You also don't have to use anything if it's too much pressure. With the balanced sit, we can actually put a pelvis here. so that the front of our pelvic bones will be on each part. So with the balancer, there is no pressure into the chest, and it really allows pelvis to move nicely. It's much better for this exercise, actually. But we're gonna be on the OOV. It's gonna go right in between the breastbone. So the top of it will be right in my sternum. The little pointy part is between the legs, and then allow your hips to open, externally rotate a little bit and open. And then the pubic bone is going to press down. So we have this form closure into our sacrum, into our SI joint. We're stabilizing it. And then allow your arms to reach forward and the chest to go down. We're gonna start with the breath here. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And even though I know it's a lot of pressure into the chest, this is such a wonderful way to train a diaphragm and to feel those posterior lateral lobes of the lung with air. The ones that don't really get much because we're mostly upright through the day. So as you breathe in, notice how the back opens and expands. One more breath here. And now as we exhale, we're gonna start sliding up. So the arms are on the floor, pubic bone presses down. We'll lift up into nice modified swan dive. And exhale as we round forward. 3 more. Inhale, shoulders move back. Arms gently slide up, nice long neck, we lift up. And exhale as we round forward. Inhale, lift up. Now don't go up too high because I don't want you to feel it all in the lower back. I really want to focus on the upper back for this portion. And then exhale, allow your ribs to press into the OOV and go all the way down. Last one here, breathe in as we lift up and extend. Now we're gonna stay here for a second. I want you to nod the chin and look down. Now keep your chin tucked as you're starting to lift your head up. And then release that chin nod at the top. One more time, start with the chin nod first. Exhale, flex the neck. Inhale, start extending the neck, keeping chin tucked. And exhale, chin tuck releases. Now inhale, nod the chin, and exhale, allow the whole torso to flex down. Curl your toes under and lift your knees off the floor. So you're in the supported plank. Lift your upper body up so that you're a nice long dart here. Palms are down on the floor. Now we're gonna rotate our hands to where the palms are towards each other and just the pinkies are on the floor and they're pressing down. So now we're kind of unbalanced. We're trying to stabilize on the OOV on our stomach and lower ribs. Knees are straight, arms are reaching forward, fingers are pressing down. We're holding this supported plank posture. Now we're going into the swimming. Breathe in, right arm lifts up, and maybe left leg lifts up. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, left arm lifts up, and then maybe right leg lifts up, and lower. Now keep going, alternating side to side. Maybe it's just the arm, maybe it's just the leg. And now you're really working on your posterior chain. Breathe in, exhale, lower. Inhale up, and mostly that cross pattern activation, connecting glute to the shoulder blade complex. Can you stabilize on the OOV? That really challenges that side to side stability. One more time, side to side. And then let's relax all the way down. Press up on hands and knees. And sit back into the child's pose or shell stretch. Take a couple of breaths, allow your ribs to move in the front. Definitely felt compression. But afterwards, I feel like I can actually take a deeper breath and I feel more open in my chest. And as we exhale, let's slowly roll back up, rock your shoulders back. And we're going on our quadruped series. So using the OOV today, we're going to use it sideways. So the bigger part is out to the side, the small pointy part is inwards, and our right knee is going to go right onto that saddle. Now, if you have balanced sit, the knee is going to go right inside that scallop, they call it, or the opening. It's really nice and soft, and it's actually designed much better for this series. But either the OOV or the foam roll works great as well. Arms are pressing down into the floor. Right knee is on the OOV. Both toes are flexed. So we're going to try to find our big toes on the floor. Press firmly into the floor. Nice long neck. As you breathe in, lift that free knee off the floor so that it matches the one that's on the OOV. And then that left leg is going to slide back. Stay nice and straight. From here, we're going to lift that leg up. Breathe in as you bend the knee and straighten the knee. We're going to go for 5 here. Now, you're already working really hard to stabilize abdominals, stabilize shoulders, and that right hip that's on the OOV is really starting to activate. Good. Last one here, bend. Keep that knee bent. Keep reaching the heel up to the ceiling. Now we're going to go into hip circles. So that leg that reaches up to the ceiling, you're going to keep reaching up through the heel and start moving the hip out to the side, out to the side, out to the side, and then up to the left elbow so it flexes. And then go back through the side, abduction, up to the ceiling. And then lower it all the way down. One more time. So breathe in as that hip extends. Start moving it out to the side and up into the flexion towards the elbow. The spine doesn't round. You can try to keep that neutral. Now move the hip out to the side, heel up to the ceiling, and lower it back down. Sit back towards your heels. And let's do the other side. So the OOV goes onto the other side, whatever unstable surface you have for that knee. The kneecap stays off of it. Arms press in, toes curled under, the free knee lifts up, and that leg extends back. Once we find a nice neutral spine position, we're going to lift that leg up. Ankle is still flexed to reach along through that knee and the heel. Now we're going to bend and extend for 6 and 5. As you flex, hopefully you feel the stretch in the front of the quad and not low back. If you're starting to feel this on the lower back, maybe don't lift that leg up so much, lower down a little bit, or connect through abdominals a little bit more. Now flex it to 90 degrees, hold it. We're going to hip circles. Start moving the hip out to the side and towards that elbow. And then coming back through that same out to the side and back up into extension. And then lower it back down. One more time. Lift up. Move it out to the side. Forward towards the elbow. And then out through the abduction, extension. And back down into flexion. And then lower it back down. So back towards your heels. Get rid of all the equipment. Maybe take the mat and just like roll it up so that your knees are more on the softer surface. But we're gonna do a little bit of a big toe or ankle stretching here. This is tolerable. Your toes are curled under. I want you to start guiding your hips back and put some pressure on that big toe so that it extends. If that feels pretty good, start walking yourself up. And really, very, very important to have range of motion on that big toe. We develop bunions, plantar fasciitis, arch pain, all kinds of stuff in the feet, and mobility of the big toe plays a big part in that. So if you can tolerate this, great. If you're not quite there, come forward. Or maybe you dynamically increase the pressure as you hinge your hips forward and back. We'll stay another 5 seconds or so. And then we're gonna relax our feet, sit back, another prayer stretch. Take a breath in. And exhale as we come back all the way. And we're gonna go into a little bit of a kneeling series today. So grab the OOV, and we're gonna put our knee inside the saddle now. So the shin is supported on the OOV. The kneecap kind of goes right into that groove, or find something really soft if your OOV is too hard. This is too much pressure. The opposite leg is gonna come forward. So we're in this lunge position. Now let's tuck our pelvis under so that we feel the front of this hip open, and that's what the stretch is. And then push your tibia, your lower leg, into the OOV, like you're gonna try to swoosh it, as if you're lifting yourself up. And then relax. 2 more times. Press your lower leg down into the OOV, or maybe it's in the floor, and then relax it down. So it's contract, relax into the quad muscle. Last one here. And relax. Now, you're gonna press down as you lunge forward into the front knee. And I want you to get that knee over your toes, over that foot, into a really nice ankle dorsiflexion mobilization exercise. And then you're gonna come back to the center. So pressing your shin bone down and allowing your knee to flex and to go forward without lifting your heel. And then coming back in. If this is too much, just keep that range of motion really small. Push down into the shin and then just come forward without pain. You don't want to push into the pain on these ones. It's okay to go all the way forward and feel the stretch and the compression in the ankle. That's kind of what you want. And then come back in. Last one. Press your shin down into the OOV and lunge forward. To go down the stairs, we need that ankle mobility. We need the control of the knee to go over the toes. And then coming back. Let's reverse onto the other side. So switching sides, the other knee goes inside that saddle. The shin is supported. And then the front leg is forward. You can also use balance it. Just keep your knee in that little cradle. But OOV really makes this a great exercise for ankle mobility. So you're gonna press into the OOV with the shin. We're gonna start with a couple of times activating and actively stretching the front of our hip or our quad, and then relax. So I push my shin down as if I'm trying to lift myself off of it, but I'm not really going anywhere, and then relax. You're also keeping that glute engaged because we're posteriorly tilting our pelvis. Last one, push your shin down into the OOV. Chest is up, nice long neck. Ribs connected towards the pelvis, not extended. And then relax. Now we're gonna start walking or progressing into a lunge. Push your shin down and start bending that front knee, allowing it to go past your toes if you can. Compressing that ankle and coming back. Push your shin down and start moving the knee forward. Your goal is to keep your heel down and coming back. And you're aiming with that kneecap kind of towards the second and third toe. That's what we're guiding. And your foot should be lined straight up. So this is that talocrural joint mobilization. We're trying to get dorsiflexion in that ankle. And even if you're moving just a little bit, you're still getting a lot of the work. Last one. And coming back. Let's come off of this. And we're going to finish with a couple of standing exercises today. So we're going to come all the way up into standing. Now let's take the OOV. And you're going to put it forward. So the pointed part, the small part is forward, the bigger part is towards you. And then taking a second, I want you to stand on top of it with both legs. So this might feel kind of difficult initially, but if you can manage it and get yourself on top of it. If this is too hard, turn the OOV sideways, and it's much easier to be in that plane. But if you can come up on really narrow stance, kind of on the upper part. If it's not the OOV, it can be a Bosu, great alternative. Or even a couch pillow. Something where your body can start recognizing that it's not a flat surface and it's a different proprioceptive feedback for our foot, for our intrinsic muscles. And we're just gonna stand here and start weight shifting side to side. So we're moving in this choroidal plane of motion. We did this plane movement in sitting. We did it on the stomach. We did it on the side. Now we're putting it all together in standing. So once you feel like you can weight shift side to side, find your nice centered balance. Think about your foot, not just grabbing with the toes, but feel the pressure in the heel as well. So you're trying to find that equal center point of weight bearing. And we're gonna go into the squat. Breathe in, reach the arms forward, find your balance point, and go as low as you can control it. Maybe you can go all the way down, maybe not, doesn't matter. And then slowly start coming back up. We're gonna do 4 more. Inhale, if you're just going halfway, this is a lot of work as it is. And then coming back up. Most importantly, think about keeping your torso as straight as you can. So it will hinge forward the lower you go, but you want to keep that torso upright. Your hips will round, your pelvis will round, and then coming all the way up. And last one here. Breathe in. And exhale. I can see myself in the screen, how my torso is side bending to the side. So you'll see that if there's a hip weakness, we'll start compensating with the torso side bend. Now stand in the center, arms reaching forward. Now I want you to look to the left and let your left arm open out to the side, and then come back to the center. Let your head turn to the right as that right arm opens, and come back to the center. Keep going side to side. Our balance system is so complicated. It's not just muscular strength. It's also coordination, vestibular system recognizing what's happening when we move our head, and our visual system as our eye gaze changes. Last one, side to side. And exhale, coming back. Let's relax your hands, slowly step off the OOV. And we are done. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.